Welcome to another segment of Being More Effective. I'm Neil Gray. Whether you want to be more effective as a leader, as a better team member, or just your desire as an individual to grow and develop, we appreciate your time. We hope the time you spend with us is meaningful. Thank you. Have you ever wondered why some people are easy to follow and other people you wouldn't want to follow on a bet? What does it mean to be a leader? What must someone have to become a leader? Is it rank? Is it title? Authority? Prestige? Is it a certain level of knowledge or intelligence? Truth be told, it's none of these things. In fact, there are many people who have these things and are in no way a leader. To be a leader, you only need two things and only two things: courage to step out in a different direction and people that are willing to voluntarily follow you. Oftentimes, leaders have to go against the current trends, whether it be standing up for what you believe to be right or standing up for and looking out for your people. Having the courage to say and do what others are not willing to say and do is hard. It's not just hard the first time you do it. It's hard because as a leader, you have to do it consistently every day. And depending on your current environment, you could be in the crosshairs and possibly get fired. A leader is willing to put themselves in harm's way to protect the team. So you have the courage to step out. Why would anyone want to follow you? Because you have an inspiring vision of a future that speaks to them and they want to help you get there. But wait, you say, I don't have an inspiring vision of the future. That's okay, unless you want to be a leader. We'll talk about that a little later. Leadership is very much like parenting. Everyone has the capacity to be a parent, but not everyone wants to be a parent, and not everyone should be a parent. The same is true for leadership. You see, leadership is not about rank, authority, and title. It's not about being in charge. It's about taking care of the people in your charge and inspiring them with a vision of the future that you want to be a part of. I heard a CEO of a manufacturing company named Bob Chapman once explain his aha moment in leadership when he was sitting at the wedding of a friend's daughter. He'd been through all kinds of management courses in college and had a master's degree in business, but it wasn't until this wedding that he understood what his focus and responsibility must be. You see, like most business executives, be it large or small business, there's a tendency to do business by the numbers, no matter what it takes, including letting go of staff when times are tough, because it's just business, and the business must survive. What he realized, listening to the vows that day, was that here was a father giving away his most prized creation, his daughter, to the charge of this young man for good times and bad, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, until death do us part. At that moment, he realized that every one of his employees were someone's little boy or little girl that had been given over to his charge for good times and bad, for sickness and in health. In other words, he realized that he could no longer think in terms of head count and the numbers, but would think in terms of heart count and the lives. These people in his charge mattered to someone else. They needed to matter to him. Think about it. If you were a parent who lost your job and the family budget was short, you wouldn't look at one of your kids and say, well, Jimmy, I'm sorry, but the family budget's short this month and we're putting you up for adoption. It's nothing personal. You just cost the most in food and clothing and you must go. It's for the good of the family. You understand. But isn't that what business does when they lay off people to balance the books? This is a disgustingly inhumane practice that came into prevalence in the 80s that needs to stop. Bob Chapman realized that no matter what, he had to do a better job of taking care of the people in his charge. He knew that in good times this would be easy. He just wasn't sure what would happen if there were bad times. A couple of years later, he found out. Around 2008, his business took a 30% hit to revenue, and the board of directors told him he was going to have to lay off people from his 8,000-person company. Story short, he said no. He decided that it was better for everyone to suffer a little than for some to suffer a lot. He told everyone that they would have to take 4 weeks unpaid furlough sometime during the next 12 months. and that the company was suspending company matching 401k contributions for everyone. Each person could decide when and in what size chunks that they would take that time. An interesting thing happened that year. Many of those who could afford to take off more time did so that others who could not afford it as easily could take off less time. No one told them to do this. They volunteered. Ultimately, no one was laid off. The company tightened the purse strings by about $20 million that year, and everyone survived. The point of the story is that his aha and how he followed through. Bob went from being a manager to a leader, and the morale and loyalty of his employees skyrocketed during those hard times because of this. Because the leader had the courage to take care of the people in his charge, despite huge pressure from the board. The people rallied around the leader and took care of the company. This is what we want from our people. Simply put, management is about the numbers, and leadership is about the people. If you focus on the numbers, you'll make short-term decisions that will likely have long-term negative consequences. If you focus on the people, you will make long-term decisions that will likely have short-term negative consequences. And if you take care of the people, they will take care of the customers who will take care of your business or organization. Isn't that what you want? If you don't take care of your people, then they will do what they must to take care of themselves. Think about this. When you lay off employees, not only do you negatively affect the laid off employee and their family, you also negatively affect the employees you kept, because now you have bred the fear of what happens next. Will I be the next to go? If that's what your team worries about, then they will be focused on self-preservation and what is good for them, as opposed to being loyal and strongly committed to the company or organization. Are you breeding loyalty and trust? Is it about head count and the numbers, or heart count and the lives? Make it personal, and your decisions will change, and you will begin to become a leader. So, becoming a leader is not about taking a class or going to a seminar or having an aha moment. It's about the daily things that you do consistently. Now, seminars and classes, along with daily use of leadership principles, much like dental visits with daily brushing, are a good idea. But too many companies and organizations attempt to create leaders through intensity of classes or seminars with no real follow-up. Look, I have a certificate. I'm a leader. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. If you only go to the gym and work out for 8 hours once a month, will you get in good physical shape? No. If you go to the gym every day for 20 minutes and work out, will you get in shape? Yes, but each day after the 20 minutes, will you see any real change? No. On what day over the course of the next 2 years of working out will you be in shape? I don't know, and yet you will. Same thing with becoming a leader. If you do the daily things that leaders do, when will you become a leader? I don't know, and yet you will. Becoming a leader and getting into shape both take time, and it's different for everyone. There just ain't no app for that. There are many leaders amongst the rank and file members of every organization. If only they were recognized. These are the people who have the backs of the people to the left and the people to the right of themselves. They take care of others because they believe that others would do the same for them. And even if they wouldn't, the people still do it anyway. The other thing I mentioned at the beginning was that leaders have a clear vision of a future not yet achieved, and they can communicate it. It's a clear why or purpose. Leaders and leader organizations know what their why is. Everyone knows what they do, the jobs, tasks, or projects that must be done to accomplish the mission. Some even know how they do it, the things that make them special, the unique selling proposition or value-added services that get the what done in a special or unique way. Very few really know why they do it. The ones who do stand out are easy to spot. The Martin Luther King Jr.'s, Nelson Mandela's, the John F. Kennedy's, and Gandhi's of the world, the Costco's, Apple's, and Barry Wehmiller's of the world. To visualize these three things, what, how, and why, draw 3 concentric circles on a piece of paper, one inside the other, like a target. It's referred to by Simon Sinek as the golden circle. The big outer ring is what, the next ring is how, and the bullseye is why. Listen to most marketing, advertising, and sales pitches, and you'll hear them start from the outside of the circle and go inward, but rarely, if ever, use the bullseye. Why? They'll tell you what they sell, all the great features they sell, and what a great deal they have for you today. Pretty boring and self-centered. Me, 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 me. This is not where you want to be. Yeah? We sell the best cars. We give the best care. We have the best people, just like everyone else. Why do people stand in line for hours to buy the new iPhone every time, even though they could wait a week and just walk in and get one? Because they believe the brand says something about who they are. If Apple marketed like everyone else, they would say, "We make great computers and phones with cool features. We uniquely design them to stand out and meet your needs. Want to buy one?" Kind of advertising like everybody else. But they start with why. For example, we challenge the status quo with everything we do. We do this with unique designs that stand out and meet your needs. We happen to make great computers and phones with really cool features. Want to buy one? People who like to challenge the status quo will resonate with the message so much that they'll pay extra for something that may not even be as good as other brands. And they don't care, because owning devices with the Apple logo on it makes a statement about who they are. Kind of like people who tattoo Harley Davidson on their bodies. My gosh, it's a corporate logo. You don't see people with Verizon or Procter & Gamble logos tattooed on their bodies. Harley Davidson's why speaks to people in a way that gives customers a certain identity. Customers want other people to know that they are a Harley Davidson kind of person. Independence, authenticity, and the passion for being on the road. All for freedom, freedom for all. That's the Harley why. So, what is your why? Your purpose? And it's not about making money. That's a result, not a purpose. Most companies will look inward and say things like, "We have the best teams and provide the best service to our customers. We'll be honest and work as a team with integrity in all our interactions." Who cares? Everybody else says the same thing, and it's not inspiring. A why should be about how the world will be different, not only today, but 50 to 100 years from now, because of you. Like Martin Luther King in his I Have a Dream speech, where he dreamed of little black kids and little white kids holding hands on the playground. People were drawn to that, not because he had a plan. He didn't. He had a dream that resonated with thousands of people that wanted that dream for their children too. I'm a part of the Start With Why movement, introduced by Simon Sinek over 10 years ago, where we want to inspire others to do the things that inspire them, and in so doing, create a world where the vast majority of people wake up every day inspired to go to work, feel safe when they're there, and come home each day feeling fulfilled. Studies show that as much as 80% of people don't even really like their jobs, let alone be inspired or fulfilled by them. We have a long way to go, but this is the kind of vision, why, that people can imagine for themselves. What would your team, your company or organization, your country, our world be like when this why comes to be? We may not see this on the grand scale in our lifetime, but we can make it happen in our teams and our companies and organizations. It's up to us. So be the leader you wish you had and figure out your why, and remember that being a leader is not about being in charge, but about taking care of the people in your charge. You can start to make a difference today without rank or title or prestige, and people will be willing to voluntarily follow you to make it happen. All you need is a clearly communicated, inspiring why, and the courage to step out and be heard. Thank you for watching today. We know you have many things in your busy schedule, and we appreciate the time you spent with us. It's our hope that we gave you some insight and information that can help you have a better, more effective day. We would love to have you be a subscriber, but we understand that everybody asks you to be a subscriber, and you can't subscribe to everything. If you do, thank you. And if not, maybe you'll consider subscribing on another day. In the meantime, make it a most incredible day.